if you compare the acts of our governor and the acts of the Deputy Chief Justice Nancy Baraza, Mr. Speaker, what the Deputy Chief Justice did was child's play. It is a small thing, Mr. Speaker. Yet, she was removed from office by the established mechanisms of the Constitution, Mr. A tribunal was formed. She took the report of the tribunal to the Supreme Court, to her colleagues, to review it, and they were unable to help her. She had to go. Mr. Speaker, in 1989, some of us in this assembly were not born. There was a vice president of this country known as Dr. Josephat Karanja. He resigned from office, Mr. Speaker, because Parliament was about to pass a vote of no confidence on him, because he had required the then Embakasi Member of Parliament, one David Mwenje, to kneel before him to make his request, Mr. Speaker. If the Vice President of Kenya many years ago could be removed from office because of requiring an MP to kneel before him, how about a governor who requires an MCA to apologize for reasons unknown, Mr. Speaker? How unaccountable can someone be if we let her go with all these misdeeds that she has committed, Mr. Speaker? Why should we look the other side, Mr. Speaker? When she is doing them and the following day she does them, when is she going to stop, Mr. Speaker, if this House does not hold her to account? Therefore, in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, to address the lawlessness that has been exhibited by the Kawira Mwangaza government, Mr. Speaker, I beg this House to vote yes to the impeachment motion, and Kawira must go. To redress the nurses who have been denied a chance for promotion because she has appealed the decision to award them promotions, Mr. Speaker, Kawira must go. To stop the illegal roadside appointments in Meru County, Mr. Speaker, that we have seen in this motion, Kawira must go. To stop the vilification of leaders in Meru County, Mr. Speaker, Kawira must go. To bring unity that the governor is talking about, Mr. Speaker, there cannot be unity with Kawira, Mr. Speaker. To bring unity, Kawira must go first. To restore Meru County, Mr. Speaker, to its former glory, Mr. Speaker, where Meru County is respected, Mr. Speaker, Kawira needs to go. To redress the honorable members of this House, Mr. Speaker, who have been abused, Mr. Speaker, who have been called cartels, Mr. Speaker, who have been called thieves, Mr. Speaker, who have been told that they are looking for something to eat, Mr. Speaker, when they call for accountability, Mr. Speaker, who have been called foxes, Mr. Speaker, by our able governor, Mr. Speaker. To redress them, Mr. Speaker, and to heal their pain, Mr. Speaker, Kawira must go. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, as I conclude my remarks before this House, Mr. Speaker, and moving the motion on impeachment, I ask this Honorable House, by looking at even the contributions of members of public from the public participation forums that were held yesterday, Mr. Speaker, the foregoing evidence that has been attached to this motion, Mr. Speaker, to vote yes, Mr. Speaker, to the impeachment of Meru Governor, one Honorable Bishop Kawira Mwangaza. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That these are critical times for our county, for us as leaders. And critical times call for critical measures. Today we'll go down the history of Meru County and the history of this republic as a day when leaders or the members of this honorable assembly chose on which side of this war they will be. I want to say that in this house, I see gallant sons and daughters of this country, of this great county of ours. I don't see foxes, I don't see cartels. I want to say that we, as honorable members of this house, duly elected by our people, we were mandated to protect the law, to protect the constitution of this country and the laws that govern our land. Every one of us took an oath of office to protect the law fearlessly and without any favor. And today we are being put to test. I want to say that in front of us, the clips that have been played by through the MCA. The issues that have been mentioned in this motion clearly depict mutilation of the law. It clearly shows that the law is being raped in front of our very own eyes, we who should be the defenders of this law. And should we not tame this habit? And should we not take drastic measures? I tell you, Meru will be a land of lawlessness.
Honorable members, we give Madam Kawira a taste of our own arrogance medicine, and we serve with hot.
Thank you, thank you.
That we are here as women, we are not fighting. It's not a gender fight, Mr. Speaker, but it is a fight, Mr. Speaker, of leaders who are not adhering to the Constitution, Mr. Speaker. And that's why we are saying as women, this is not a gender fight, but it is a fight for leaders who are not adhering to the Constitution, Mr. Speaker. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, when I listened to the people of Mwangaza, a large percent of them sent us with one thing, that they were tired of the fights, and they are tired, Mr. Speaker, of having a leader who is not working with other people. And they sent us with one mission, and they sent us with one voice, that please go and represent our voice and say that we don't require Honorable Kawira Mwangaza as the governor of Meru. Many people might think we're impeaching Kawira because she's a woman, but it's better to call a spade and not a big spoon to protect our future generation. Mr. Speaker, sir, for the viewers, impeaching Kawira today, it goes without saying. One, we have seen Governor Kawira is a liar. She has been trespassing to this county, lying to the people that she's the only worthy leader who can safeguard the resources of Meru County, especially the 12 billion that really comes in this county. Other leaders are cartels, they are thieves, and they are corrupt. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have seen Governor Kawira saying in Lare that accusing our Senator Kaduri, our CEC Agriculture, Honorable Medical Ntore, saying that they wanted the share to take the half of our government. That is very serious, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have heard from the mover that Governor Kawira was accusing the MCAs, saying that they were throwing stones to her, and when you look at the clips, it was opposite, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Governor Kawira is a governor who cannot move out of our way to look for some partners to help this county.
The House impeaches the governor of Meru County, the Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, for various wrongs she has committed, for the gross violation of the Constitution and various laws, gross misconduct and abuse of office. And now, what happens next after the Assembly has approved the impeachment motion? Within 2 days, that is by Friday, the Speaker of this Assembly will have communicated with the Speaker of the Senate. That is by Friday. He should have communicated, according to the provisions of the County Governments Act, the provision on impeachment of governors. By Friday, the Speaker will have communicated with the Speaker of the Senate about the approval of the impeachment motion. Then within 7 days, the Speaker of the Senate has to convince a sitting of the Senate to hear the charges against the governor. You know, the Senate is on recess right now, but within 7 days from Friday, they have to be recalled so that they can start hearing the impeachment charges against the governor of Meru County. So upon hearing the impeachment charges, the Senate will choose either to use a committee of 11 members or a plenary of the whole House. Whichever way the Senate goes, they will have now 10 days to hear the governor, to hear the move of the motion. So I will personally be there. Then the governor or our representatives will be at the Senate during either the committee or the plenary hearings. After that, the Senate now is expected to vote on the resolution of either the whole House or the committee now. If the Senate resorts to adopting a committee, the committee will bring a report, the 11-member committee. This report may find the governor to have violated to be guilty of the charges that we have labeled against her, or not. So if the report finds the governor guilty, then now the Senate will vote. And all the members will have one vote. So the 67 members of the Senate each will have a single vote, and we require a simple majority to have the motion approved by the Senate. And the Senate too can amend a report of the committee if the Senate so wants to amend it. So the magic number at the Senate is a simple majority of the voting senators, which is 34 members.